What's up, motivators? It has been a while since we have had some quality time here, but I wanted to sit down and chat with you one-to-one, one to you and the camera and this cute little adorable mic, because we have the biggest announcement that I think we've ever had in the 8 years of doing this channel and in the 4 years of creating the MOTTIV training app. For those of you who have been around for many of those years, you will know that I started out a long time ago just doing videos on YouTube, and then it evolved to the podcast, and then we rolled out the MOTTIV app, but we were always in that beta mode where we were trying to find out what we wanted to build that we thought could have an impact in the endurance world. And finally, after 4 years, we're super happy to say that I think that we're ready. So to not tease this out for super long in this video, we are lowering the price of our app from $57 US per month to $19.99 a month, or $179.99 per year, the equivalent of $14.99 a month. The idea is that we want to make it less expensive than just 1 month of one-on-one coaching, because I want to make endurance training, preparing for races, accessible to millions of people. And when I started creating YouTube videos, I started creating videos specifically for beginners, and the comments that we got from so many people were that beginners are kind of ignored. The basic questions of how to breathe in the water when you're training for a triathlon, or do you wear underwear under your bike shorts, or how do you start running if you literally can't run without pain. There wasn't a ton of content for those people. Fast forward 4 years when we launched the Kickstarter campaign, thank you to all 315 people who backed us in that campaign to successfully launch the MOTTIV app, which was originally called Team Trainiac. The idea was to make an affordable way for people to access good training, because the options out there weren't that great. The first option, download template training plans. Well, template training plans cost about $75 a training plan on average if you're going to get one that has any sort of detail whatsoever. Well, most people race 3 times a year, so all of a sudden you're paying $225 to prepare for those 3 races. We're already at almost $20 a month, and those template training plans tend not to be related to you whatsoever. They're not personalized. And then what happens when you start overlapping those training plans? Well, all of a sudden you get conflicting training. Which training plan do you actually follow? Not to mention that those training plans don't keep you motivated. They don't let you know if you're on track, and they don't tell you if you're making progress and going to have a good day on race day whatsoever. The alternative was really the de facto standard that if you wanted to take training for your races seriously, you would have to hire a one-on-one coach. Well, the average cost used to be around $150 to $200 a month. Over the last few years, it's become closer to about $300 a month. And fact of the matter is that the good coaches out there are even more expensive because they're really busy. They can charge $300 to $500 a month, up to $1,500 a month. And frankly, having to pay $3,000 to $18,000 a year isn't really feasible for so many people. It's not realistic to expect people to pay that if they aren't elite athletes. What's more, a lot of the even good endurance coaches were single sport coaches. Would you get an ultra marathon plan from a triathlon coach or vice versa? No. Were these coaches experts in strength training or mobility training or nutrition planning? No. So you'd even have costs that you would have to add on to get a really good cohesive plan, becoming thousands of dollars for people every single year. Let's have a real talk moment. So many of the coaches weren't great. There are, I think, 10,000 triathlon coaches and 10 to 20,000 running coaches out there. And so many of the coaches out there did an online certification and then became a coach. Not because they knew a lot about the sport, they had just done a few races and got the online certification. And I'll tell you, I've done those online certifications just to see what it was like. Almost completely useless. I learned so much more from traveling with, from having dinner with, from training with professional athletes and the world's best coaches over the last 8 years. We've been very lucky through this YouTube channel to get to meet and learn from the best people out there. And I'm sorry, those online certifications don't make an excellent coach. The third option was to do it yourself, and frankly, if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you're probably not watching these videos. But second thing is that as we started finding out why people were doing it themselves, it's not because they liked putting together their own plans, it's because they couldn't afford one-on-one coaches and they didn't like a template training plan. The fourth option were online solutions, and when we launched the MOTTIV app 4 years ago, there was one, maybe two other online solutions, and there's a few more now. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 8 to 10 between running and triathlon apps. Most of them are priced at $75 to $125 a month. And they're basically template training plans, which honestly, it kind of pisses me off because you're giving people template training plans that would cost $75, and then you're charging them a monthly fee that's even more than a lot of those plans. And sure, some of them have a little bit more customization and a little bit more interaction with maybe group calls, but the fact of the matter is that it's still template training plans. Furthermore, there are a lot of apps from people that are creating their app that is just a reskinned, white-labeled app that somebody else has created, and then they've sold it to 40 different influencers who put their logo on it, change the icon, and then upload a bunch of template plans. And I don't think that's right. I think that the endurance world deserves better than all of these options. The endurance world deserves technology just like every other industry that has come along, made it so much more accessible to people who need to get good training inexpensively. Like how Duolingo allowed people to learn languages for free or $10 a month and not have to pay hundreds of dollars a month for one-on-one tutoring. That's what the endurance world needs. And that's why we wanted to get down to this $19.99 or $14.99 a month price point to make it so much easier for people to change their lives with endurance sports. Think about how much more fulfilling life is when you're challenging yourself and you've got that health and confidence and mental well-being from taking on big endurance race challenges. This has always been our goal, and people might say, well, why have you waited so long? First is we've basically funded this entire thing from our own pocket. We raised a small amount of money from friends and family, and otherwise it was exclusively done through the subscription fees of our athletes. Thank you to everyone who's been around for the last 4 years. We wouldn't have been able to do this without you. But we finally now have an investment partner who is a private individual. He's asked to be unnamed, but he's a private individual, not an institutional investor. And he himself had his life changed by triathlon, who isn't going to pressure us to operate in a way that isn't in the best interest of the endurance community. He just wants to give back to the sport. So we have that ability to lower the price now. Second thing is, I think that in this world that is getting so much more expensive for everyone out there, and apps who will go unnamed are upping their price by 30, 50, 100%. And what's happened is a lot of these other apps have functioned over the last few years just because venture capitalists have been pumping money into them, and they've never actually learned how to operate efficiently and profitably. So now they're having to jack up their pricing, and all of the customers are having to pay for that. We're a small company. We can stay small, we can stay efficient, we can keep our costs in check, and we can pass those savings onto the endurance community and make training for a race a more affordable thing as opposed to a thing that is a financial stressor. So the app has come a long, long way in the 4 years that it's been out. We started with triathlon training plans that just gave you a personalized triathlon training plan. We now have run training plans from 5K up to ultra marathon, duathlon plans, short, under 2 hours, long, over 2 hours, swim run, under 3 hours, over 3 hours, cycling events, grand fondos, road races, ultra cycling endurance challenges, and then people can add all different types of races. You just have to put in the dates of the races and roughly how much you want to train, and a training plan will be created for you that prepares you for all of the races just for that flat fee. We also have 25 hours of guided video strength workouts that you follow along with, 15 hours of guided mobility training in the app, and workout nutrition for every single pre and during workout nutrition recommendation to make sure that you're getting the most out of your training. And it all just happens automatically. I think this is the product that people deserve. Not only that, but the app also works to keep you on track and keep you motivated so that you know that you've done all of the work necessary to get to race day, so you can walk up to that race day feeling confident that you were prepared. So I want to thank everyone that has watched this video, everyone that has watched all of our videos over the years and has been with me over the last 4 years. This lowering of the price point is the start of us trying to build an app that is ready for the entire world to have a more accessible way to train for races. Think about how good the world will be if more people are able to afford being able to prepare for those races and get that fulfillment and health and mental well-being from taking on these big challenges and building the confidence to do that. This is what we want to leave behind in the world when we go away. We want to improve the endurance community, and this is what we feel that it deserves. So you can DM me on Instagram. That goes directly to me. If you have any questions at all about it, let me know. But otherwise, go and check it out. You can try it for free for 14 days, and we're super proud of the 4.7 out of 5-star review that we already have in the App Store. It's a good app. People like it. So go check it out. Ask me any questions on Instagram if you have any questions about it. There is a link to a blog post that I did about this announcement in the description below. If you've got any questions about it, let me know. Later, motivators. Thank you to you, and thank you to the entire MOTTIV team for getting us here.